Hello and welcome to my January TBR. So for January, I do have 5 audiobooks on reserve, so we already know 5 of the books I'm going to be reading. So I'm going to use TBR prompts to choose another 5. The first of the books that I have on reserve, I thought I had a physical copy of, and I don't. It is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. I have 3 books in the series. I thought I had that one. Apparently not. So we're not actually knocking off any books from the TBR with that one, but it's fine. Next we have A Tempest of Tea. I got this in a Fairy Loot box maybe 2 years ago when I had a subscription. It is stunning. I've heard so many good things about this book. Next we have Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. I have read all of her released books apart from this one. I'm so excited to see what her adult thrillers are like compared to her YA thrillers. I love her writing. I love her books so much. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is actually the book that got me into reading maybe 2.5 years ago. I like to go into thrillers blind, so I actually don't know what this is about, and I'm not going to find out until I read it. Next we have The Survivor Wants to Die at the End. Along with A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, They Both Die at the End and The First to Die at the End were another 2 books that I read when I first got back into reading, so I can't wait to jump back into this world. And last but not least, we have The Final Gambit. I started the Inheritance games maybe a month ago. I read the first 2, and I love them so much. I can't wait to see how this series ends. Now for the TBR prompts, I have this book box thing from Fairy Loot, and it is holding my TBR prompt inside. So we're gonna mix them up and pick out 5. So the first one we're gonna go with, I don't know if you can see what that says. Been on your TBR the longest. No. I was really, there's a reason some of these books have been on my TBR for so long. But let's go through and see what ones we can come up with. Okay, so I have 4 options here. 2 of them are from my childhood, and 2 are books that I bought when I first started reading. The first one from my childhood is the Septimus Heap books, the first one, Magic. I did start reading this when I was maybe 13, and I never finished it, so technically this has been on my TBR for a long time. The same can be said for Fairy Wars by Herbie Brennan. Again, I started reading this when I was a teenager, and I don't think I ever finished it. So these 2 technically have been on my TBR the longest. Then we have People of Abandoned Character. It shows how long it's been on my TBR because it's got the 3 for £5 works deal. It is now 3 for £7.50. I think it's about a woman who possibly could be married to Jack the Ripper. I have no idea, honestly. And last but not least, we have The Silent Patient. This I bought so long ago. Out of all of these books, I think The Silent Patient is calling to me the most. So we're going to add this to our January TBR, and I'm finally going to get to it. Let's pick another prompt. We'll go with this one. You're going to have to excuse the state of the paper. I didn't want to get up and find scissors, so I just ripped them all. So we have a book about something you love. Okay, I'm excited for this one. Okay, so I have chosen 4 options. First, we have More Days at the Morosaki Bookshop. Obviously, books. It doesn't need to be said. The reason that I would choose this is because it's such a short book, so it would be easy to get through. Next, we have a book that I have attempted to read 2 or 3 times now. It is dirty, and I don't know what I've got on it, to be honest. It's kind of gross. I need to try and clean the dust jacket. But it is Babel. I love linguistics and languages. This is on my 26 and 26, so I'm thinking this could be a good shout. I have tried so many times. I have the audiobook for it. So I'm thinking maybe doing an immersive read so that I don't get distracted, because the reason I've stopped reading it so many times is because I listen to the audiobook and then zone out and then try and figure out where I am in the story, and I just can't. So if I do an immersive and have both, I feel like I'm less likely to get distracted. So that's a contender. And then the last 2 are about chess. I love chess. If you know me, I don't shut up about chess. I have recently actually joined a chess team, which is really exciting. The first, we have The Queen's Gambit. I was recommended the show by so many people after I started getting into chess, and I love the show so much. I've been told that this is a lot darker than the show, and the show's quite dark already. I honestly don't know. And last but not least, we have Intermezzo by Sally Rooney. I again have tried the audiobook for this. and I got a bit distracted. So if I was to choose Intermezzo, I'd have to do an immersive read with this one as well. I don't actually know how heavily it revolves around chess. I think it's more about the guy's life. It just so happens that one of the brothers likes chess. Oh, I don't know what to pick. So I think I'm gonna choose Babel. I am gonna try and clean the dust jacket. I have had this for approximately 2 years. So it is long overdue that I actually read it. So I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna go with Babel. Okay, so our next pick is a classic. I don't know why I put this one in there. I have like maybe two. So I have 3 classics on my shelves that I haven't read. The first is Little Women, but it is the children's version. I do have the children's version. I don't know if this is different. I'll have to do a little bit of research. Next, we have The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. I got this in a blind date with a book, and it does sound interesting, and it's very short. It's less than 160 pages, so this is a good contender to try and boost up my reads, I think. Last but not least, we have Crime and Punishment. This is one of my brother's favourite authors, so I did tell him that I would read this book. I'm thinking of doing 75 booked starting on January 1st. So maybe I'll use this as my 75 booked because I'll be annotating it and stuff, so it would kind of fit in with the rules of 75 booked. But we already have a couple of really big books on this list. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose The Invisible Man. However, I'm going to keep this as a reserve, and if I do end up finishing my TBR, then this will be the next one. So it's kind of a reserve book. I'm scared. So we have 3 books picked out so far. Let's pick out our next prompt. So our next prompt, is it this way? A hyped book on BookTok. Okay, I can do this one. Okay, so I've picked out 5 options. The first is Magnolia Parks. I do own the first 2 books in this series. I did try to start it a while ago, just wasn't in the mood for it and I put it down. But this is something that I've been wanting to get to for a long time. Next we have Caraval. I can't believe I still haven't read this, to be honest. I have this, I have Legendary. I don't own Finale, but I also own Once Upon a Broken Heart, and I've heard that you have to read Caraval first, so I haven't been able to read Once Upon a Broken Heart. I did try and start Caraval at one point as well. I think I got like 2 chapters in and stopped for some reason. Next we have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Now listen, we don't like Brandon Sanderson, okay? It's known that we don't like him. This is a loyalty card for the yarn store. I started reading this. I just took my bookmark out. That was a good idea. Started reading this for book club and wasn't a big fan. It was really slow and I put it down. And to be honest, I don't know if it's one that I want to revisit, so I'm probably not going to be choosing this. Next, we have The Crimson Moth. I have recently received this. I've heard nothing but good things about it. I'm excited to read this one, but I don't know if I'm in the mood for it right now. We already have a couple of fantasies on the TBR. So we currently have 2 fantasies on the TBR, so maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. Finally, it wouldn't be BookTok's hype books without this brick. Alchemized. I picked this up because it was half price. I am very intimidated by this book. So I think what I'm going to do with this one is try and read it throughout the year, kind of set goals that I want to hit in the book, maybe every week, every 2 weeks, every month, something like that. I genuinely really want to read it, but I'm so scared. I'm intimidated by the size of it. It is huge. And also, I love reading when I'm at the gym, and this is not something that I can read at the gym. This is too big. So Alchemized is out, which leaves us with The Crimson Moth, Caraval, and Magnolia Parks. I think I'm between Caraval and Magnolia Parks, to be honest. Both of them are starting new series, but this is more of interconnected stories rather than a series, whereas Caraval is a series that leads to another series. So technically 6 books. I think I'm going to choose Caraval just because I know it's going to be a faster read and we've already got a couple of chunky books in here. And I think also with Magnolia Parks I'm going to want to annotate it a little bit, and I can't do that while I'm reading at the gym. I think we're gonna go with Caraval for our fourth book. We have one more book to choose, so we're gonna pick our last TBR prompt. Okay, we have a book with a beautiful cover. Okay, so I have 6 books chosen here. The first is The Temptation of Magic. This is the Fairy Loot edition, so it does have foiling on the cover, and it has reverse cover art, which I think is stunning. I'm pretty sure this is an enemies to lovers or rivals to lovers kind of story, which, sign me up. Next we have Phantasma. I love this cover so much. It's so cool. But it is starting another new series. So I don't think I'm going to choose this one as much as I would love to read it. Next we have The Rainfall Market. I don't know why I'm so drawn to this cover. I love it so much. I think this would be like a really quick read. Next we have A Grave Inheritance. I don't know what it is about this cover. I think it's stunning. I think it might be the foiling. I don't. This one just sounds quite fun. Next, we have The Vanishing Cherry Blossom Bookshop. How can you not be obsessed with this cover? I love it so much. Genuinely, one of the biggest reasons that I bought this book. Last but not least, we have A Dark and Drowning Tide. I know a lot of people probably think this is kind of a boring, dreary kind of cover, but I love it so much. I got it for like £3 because the back is quite badly damaged, but you're not going to be able to see that on my shelf, so I don't know. I think it's between A Grave Inheritance and A Dark and Drowning Tide. I'm leaning more towards A Grave Inheritance just because it is a shorter book. I think this one's just a bit of like a fun paranormal kind of book, so I think we're going to go with this one. So let's just do a quick run through of all of the books we have on our January TBR. First we have The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, whichever it is. Not Quite Dead Yet by Holly Jackson. A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Faisal. The Survivor Wants to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. The Final Gambit by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. A Grave Inheritance by Felicity Epps. Caraval by Stephanie Garber. The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. Babel by R.F. Kuang. And The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I don't know if I pronounced any of their names right, but that's what we're going with. At the end of January, I'll be doing a TBR wrap-up vlog kind of thing, so stay tuned for that. If you're still here, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. Obviously, I'm very new to this, so please bear with me while I'm learning the ropes. I am trying my best, but thank you so much for sticking around, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!